So a hot seat is like a question and answer session which happens online, where community members can get access to experts or policymakers in a particular field, and these experts and policymakers can answer questions on particular subject areas. Hot seats are a good way of connecting people up who are geographically dispersed. In order to run a hot seat, you really need some thorough planning and preparation. The key to this is to assign one facilitator who takes responsibility for all of it, and that person really needs to first of all find a suitable subject matter. They need to contact somebody who is relevant in order to see if they'll come in and sit in the hot seat. It requires people to actually physically, this facilitator to actually physically set it up in the community, and also to see if they can get a few interested and willing participants to come in and ask the first few questions to seed the hot seat, if you like. Before people come in and start asking questions, the guest needs to post up some form of stimulus article or a thought provoker, if you like, which gets participants thinking about what the topic is and what they might like to ask the hot seat guest. And it's usually something a little bit provocative to get the conversation going. Also, you need to get up some sort of biography of the person who's the expert, so that people can set the context of the comments, the replies that are coming in relation to what this person knows and why they are an expert in that field. At the end of a hot seat, what needs to happen is a facilitator will come in and they will post a message and thank everybody for contributing and participating. Also say thank you to the guest for their giving up their time to come in and to take part in the hot seat. And then the discussion needs to be summarised, and after the facilitator has summarised it in some way, they then need to send that to the expert and get their approval that it's factually correct, etc. And then that summary can then go into the community as a document. So there are two things that make a good hot seat. First of all, proactive facilitation, and secondly, making sure that the topic is appropriate for the community.
We run a hot seat because we find that they're a really useful tool to get people to open up and discuss ideas relevant to talent management, which is the talent management COP. We think they add value, and we try and do one every 6 to 8 weeks.
We run hot seats in the Geographic Information team to provide information for the community on the COP and bring our experts together and the community.
We decided to run a hot seat because I think we wanted to really engage a bit more with our community members.
We ran this by obviously finding an expert, which is not easy. A lot of people are reluctant to put themselves forward. Once you have an expert, you brief them and they would come up with a topic that they can then comment upon and they're comfortable with. We advertise the hot seat in advance through updates. And also maybe it's 1 or 2 days immediately before and during the day as well. We send out an email just to remind people that there is a online discussion going on.
We invite guests, the hot seat guests, to participate, and then we arrange dates, and then we email promotional information advertising to our community, and then on the day of the hot seat starting, we introduce the guest, and then they go online and start answering questions, chatting away for however long they've promised to do it.
Ask the community in advance if they had any specific questions on this particular area. So, and then they came back with kind of questions that they wanted to ask. We promoted the time that we were going to have the expert there, so that we did that really well in advance, so that people would know when they needed to come along.
We learned it's really important for the expert to join the community. It doesn't work if you have a colleague who will act as a buffer and process the questions and responses and so on. It's much better if the individual joins the COP. And what happens naturally, I think, is the COP then becomes a personal discussion. So it's important to name the person asking the question, so the reply is a personal one. Instead of lots of questions, what we're finding is a genuine discussion where one comment or answer promotes and provokes another.
You need to get people with a lot of charisma on. We found that some people can be a little bit dry, and that reflects in the hot seat itself. Not to be afraid to step in as facilitators. And
what advice would I give? I would say do it. They take a bit of preparation, And if they don't work, they can be embarrassing. Let's be honest. If it's just people, it's the wrong time or wrong subject or wrong expert. But do it anyway, because you do find that ideas and points and learning come forward, which they wouldn't do in a more sterile way of people just posting an open and closed point on the forum, a discussion point.
Probably try and match up a hot topic in the community to the person and the date of the time when they're doing it. I would also be concerned over dates of don't do any hot seats during half term or summer holidays, because nobody will go on.
Write it well in advance, and make sure that you are keeping an eye on it yourself all through the day or around the times that you've said it's going to run, so that you can perhaps be a bit provocative and add something in, or to say thank you to someone, or